There will be spoilers for Spider-Man Far From Home in this video, so if you don't want to get spoiled, don't watch the video. Since Spider-Man Brand New Day is coming out, I thought that I would revisit Spider-Man Far From Home. Spider-Man Far From Home is the bridge to greatness for Tom Holland's Spider-Man. It's the reason why we're getting Spider-Man Brand New Day in the first place. A lot of people seem to think that this is the worst Spider-Man movie, but that clearly isn't the case. It's clearly the Amazing Spider-Man 2. There are three main points that I'd like to mention about this movie, one being Peter's character progression, two being Peter and MJ getting together, and three being Peter's identity being revealed. And I'll also go over a few bonus points that make this movie even better because, you know, why not? So let's get into it. This movie is a good pick-me-up after the events of Endgame. With the heroes split up after the events of Endgame and Peter having to carry the weight of having future enemies on Earth, he needs a big break from being Spider-Man, just like how Tobey Maguire also had a break in Spider-Man 2, and Andrew Garfield as well in The Amazing Spider-Man 2. Hence the vacation in Spider-Man Far From Home. He just wants a normal life. Peter just wants a normal life. And with this whole, Spider-Man being an Iron Man Jr. in Homecoming was a problem. But that's not who Peter wants to be in this movie. He has this fixated mindset that he needs to step up and be better than Iron Man, but in his heart, he wants to go on his trip and spend time with MJ. Peter even says the world needs the next Iron Man and it isn't him. Happy even says that no one could live up to Tony. And Peter realizes that it's a choice to be a replacement for Iron Man, and it's his choice to make, and he chooses to do his own thing. If anything, Mysterio would be Iron Man Jr. in this movie. He sees Tony as someone who doesn't deserve the technology he's made, and that Mysterio will step up and be the big next Iron Man. By the end of the movie, Peter realizes that being a hero is a full-time gig, a huge commitment for a job that will never be done. He learns that there will be ups and downs and mistakes of all sorts may be made. Just like in the movie when he gave Edith to Mysterio, but he later atones for that mistake. This entire movie allowed Peter to grow, not just as Spider-Man, but as well as Peter Parker. The romance is good between MJ and Peter. You get pure chemistry. Now, the romance isn't smooth sailing the entire way through, which is good. It's always good to have conflict in stories. Just like the other Spider-Man movies, problems come up in relationships. We have Brad Davis, who also likes MJ, and Peter being sometimes distant to MJ because of his work with Nick Fury. Or should I say Talos, which is why, Nick Fury didn't catch on to Mysterio's schemes a little quicker. But just like Spider-Man Homecoming, there is a connection between Peter and MJ, and in Spider-Man Far From Home, they show consistent interest in each other. In Spider-Man Homecoming, MJ always paid attention to Peter, and it elevates in Spider-Man Far From Home. As you know, MJ is trying to figure out who Spider-Man is during the movie, and this has been foreshadowed at the end of Homecoming. I do want to say that relationships of any kind are so unique and complex that there really isn't a guidebook as to what will and won't happen. So you take it upon yourself to try and do the best that you can to create a bond or maintain it in your own way, of course. Which this movie does with Peter. He knows MJ's interest and that MJ is interested in him, and he uses that to bring them together, which pays off in Spider-Man No Way Home, and their relationship at the end brings a tear to many. Up until this point in the MCU, the secret identity trope didn't really matter. Take a look at Tony, Steve, and Bruce. Their secret identities get displayed like it's nothing and they move on. What makes Peter's reveal so interesting is that not only is he labeled as a murderer, but he's still a kid in high school. And this is such a big impact because Peter is still growing mentally. Having his identity being revealed puts a strain on all aspects of his life. And Peter said it himself in this movie that if the whole world figured out who he was, then he would be done. And you get to see that in the next movie with the challenges he has to deal with because of his identity being revealed in No Way Home. Mysterio is an unstable, self-centered, deceptive lunatic of a mentor, and him being a bad guy was pretty freaking obvious because when has he not been a bad guy? But I do like the way they handle him as a false hero. In a world of technology that is so advanced, I do not know how you could do Mysterio better in the MCU as it stood. And I find it pretty poetic that Mysterio is lying the entire time in the movie and that his visuals are also fake. For Mysterio's design, he looks freaking phenomenal. His illusions are out of this world. He has one of the best scenes in all of the Spider-Man movies. Once it's revealed that the elementals were fake and Mysterio was lying the entire time, it was very hard to believe what is real moving forward, especially when Mysterio dies. Betrayal is integrated into Mysterio's character if you think about it, because he creates fake visuals that betray your senses, and his whole character blends well with the world because Nick Fury, or Talos, doesn't know anything because the original Nick Fury got blipped for 5 years, and there's even less of S.H.I.E.L.D. now than it was before the blip. I mean, why wouldn't Talos believe Mysterio's lie about him coming from another universe? After everything that's happened in the MCU, I'd believe Mysterio too. My only nitpick would be his chest plate because we were so close to having such a comic accurate design for Mysterio. But I digress, it still looks cool. Now I know people have a problem with this movie because Spider-Man isn't in New York for the entire movie. And let me just say this, Spider-Man does not always have to be in New York for a story to work. There are multiple Spider-Man stories that feature him in places other than New York, whether it be in games, comics, or TV shows. This also works with world building. For example, you get to see how expansive S.H.I.E.L.D. is throughout the world as you continue to watch the MCU. The blip is where everyone in Infinity War got Thanos snapped for 5 years and then brought back like nothing happened in Endgame. The blip explanation in this movie is very, very good compared to Endgame's microsecond of an explanation. In this movie, it's brief, quick, and gets straight to the point. Even a 5-year-old could understand this. Now, I won't say this movie doesn't have any problems. I mean, what movie doesn't have problems? Here are a few that I have in mind. Ned and Betty getting together then splitting up is so out of place in the movie, just like Happy and Aunt May. One scene they're together and then the next they break up. Peter's spider sense hasn't been working properly since Civil War, which is a major issue because that's a part of Spider-Man's character. From Civil War to Far From Home, they don't explain why it isn't working, but at the end of the movie, he's able to make it work by focusing? My guess is that Peter's body is still developing as a teenager, so that's why he doesn't have all his powers. But that makes no sense because literally every other Spider-Man that's been bit by the spider developed their spider sense pretty quickly. And Peter prioritizing his trip instead of saving the world from the elementals even though they were fake is absolutely donkey doo-doo writing. The Talos Nick Fury twist doesn't make any sense because since when does Nick Fury take a vacation from S.H.I.E.L.D.? From my understanding of Nick Fury in the MCU, if we're just looking at the movies, he isn't one to take breaks and leave everything up to someone else without having any control. Anyways, that's my opinion on Spider-Man Far From Home. Feel free to disagree. Dun, 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 dun. Dun, 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 dun. Dun, dun.